Hello guys, welcome to another video where we are going to be demystifying the most mystified stack in the tech industry. We are going to be looking at the Elasticsearch, Logstash and the Kibana stack. Today we are going to be demystifying what Elasticsearch is all about, and we are going to be seeing its uses, and we are going to do a practical demonstration on how this thing is used. So it is going to be an exciting period. I hope you are very excited to follow till the end. To give you a high level overview of what we are going to be talking about, we have this structure here. I'll be explaining to you what this structure actually do, and I'll be telling you how the system works. So consider a situation where let us give you the perspective and the importance of the technology before we delve directly into the technology, because if you don't know the problem that a particular technology is trying to solve, you would not even understand what that technology is doing. Okay, let's give an example. We have a server that is running here, right? This server is having our our application website, right? It is our app server. Okay, now in this server our application is running there. Okay, now but we want that the logs, everything that is happening in this application, that is the logs that are in this application, they should be sent to a different server. They should be sent to a different server in some sort of a logging system, right? In some sort of a logging system. So as you know, there are specific tools that are being used to manage logs. Okay, there are specific tools that are used to analyze logs and manage them, and those tools, we cannot take those tools and be running them directly in our app server. Let's take this one to be our app server. We cannot take the log tools and we are running them directly on our app server. It is not possible. Okay, now what do? We have to remove the logs. We have to remove these app logs from the app server and bring it to that monitoring system. Okay, so this is what we are going to be doing. So we have a system called ELK, which is Elasticsearch, Logstash and Kibana. Now we also have bits added to it, so we are going to be explaining the whole stack of ELK. So we are going to have an application or a web server installed, and then we are going to install the ELK stack. So what is the ELK stack? That is the ELK stack that we are going to be talking about. The ELK stack is a combination of just as we said, four different components. The components are Elasticsearch, Logstash and Kibana. We have Kibana, and we have bits. We have bits added to it. Okay, so this is the stack that we are going to be talking about. Okay, this is a system that is going to be pulling logs from here. These four common stack are going to be working together to pull logs from here and put it here, and we'll be able to see it. So here we have just drawn this to demonstration, but if we consider this as the ELK, this one as the ELK stack, it is deceiving, because our ELK stack, we are going to deploy it in two different computers. Okay, we are going to deploy our ELK stack like this. We are going to first of all deploy the first EC2 instance that is going to host the Elasticsearch. Our first EC2 instance is going to hold Elasticsearch, and then the second EC2 instance is going to hold our Logstash and Kibana. This EC2 instance is going to hold our Logstash and Kibana. Okay, our logstash and Kibana is going to be here. So how now does Elasticsearch, logstash and Kibana functions? Okay, how does Elasticsearch, logstash and Kibana cooperate together in order to present to us logs that are taken from an ELK, or that are taken from an app server? Let's come to this demonstration here. Now, this is our app server. Okay, we can have two app servers. It doesn't matter. We can have two app servers, right? We have two application servers. We are going to demonstrate this directly and practice it. We have two app servers, and then in the app server we are going to install what we call bits. When we are going to install this bit, we are going to configure the bit to pick up the application logs from this server, and the bits are going to send the application logs to logstash. Okay, these bits are going to pick the application logs from the web app, send it to logstash. Okay, what does logstash do? Logstash is going to, it does some sort of filtering, it does some sort of selection that you do not want to be pouring any junk of logs into your Elasticsearch. Okay, it is going to filter the logs, maybe with your defined configurations. It is going to filter the logs, which particular logs you want to ingest, at which particular time you want the logs. Logstash is going to do those filtering for you. We are going to do the configuration and you are going to see. And then logstash, after filtering the logs, it is going to send the logs, and the logs will be stored in Elasticsearch. All right, these logs are going to be stored in Elasticsearch. So the logs being stored in Elasticsearch, how do we see the log? The logs are going to now be seen through Kibana. So in effect, Kibana is a graphical user interface that helps us to see logs in Elasticsearch. So if they ask you what is Kibana, Kibana is the graphical user interface that permits us to query and see logs in Elasticsearch. Elasticsearch serves as some sort of a database where all the logs comes and they are deposited. Logstash is some sort of a filtering tool that filters the logs that are coming before they are going. Bits ingest logs from the server, takes the logs and send it to logstash. Okay, servers have applications running on them. Servers are pure web servers that can be web servers, can be Kubernetes, containers or orchestration. It can be anything. You can actually ingest logs from anywhere and send it directly to Elasticsearch and then visualize it in Kibana. Okay, so when you look at this system like this, how many computers or how many EC2 instances do you think we are going to have? So for our demonstration, we are going to have 3 EC2 instances. The 3 EC2 instances are going to host one, our web application. The first EC2 instance is going to host our web application, and in that EC2 instance we are going to install bits on it. Okay, we are going to install bits on it, and then the second EC2 instance is going to hold our logstash and our Kibana. Okay, the second EC2 instance is going to hold logstash and Kibana, and then the third EC2 instance is going to host our Elasticsearch. If you don't have if you do not have a very large data set and you are in a very small environment, you can install Elasticsearch, logstash and Kibana in one EC2 instance. Okay, but I'm giving you the industry standard on how the situation is always. Sometimes you even have 2 Elasticsearch instances for very large organizations. Okay, you have it in a cluster. So let's head over to AWS and we start configuring all these. So I have 3 instances that are running on AWS. I have 3 instances that are running the Ubuntu operating system. Let's see. So I have already created the instances. What I can tell you about these instances is that let the instance that is running Elasticsearch be at least of 2 GB of processing power and 20 GB of memory. The same with logstash, and then the app server can be a normal EC2 instance of T2 micro. Okay, these two should be of high quality, and then this one can be with respect to your application. All right, so I have these 3 instances running. I have SSH into the 3 instances. These are the 3 instances. So the first one, let us verify and make sure that we are in the right place. The first one is supposed to be the Elastic Server instance. We see it's IP33, so that is the instance with its IP33. So the first thing is we are going to configure this instance. Okay, so I have prepared a configuration file for you, and somehow I'm going to keep this file in my GitHub account, which I'm going to be putting a link below for you to download this file, because if I copy and paste on YouTube, you might not be able to see the get the full clickable links. So I'm going to give you the link to my GitHub account for you to download the file. So just follow along with me. Okay, so we are going to start by configuring the Elasticsearch server. All right, we are in Elasticsearch, so we start by updating the server. All right, you just run the various commands as you see them here, and things will move on well for you. So let's run the let's run the updates. When our system finally updates, the second thing is we are going to install JDK. Open JDK 8. Okay, and then after that we're going to add the keys. Let's add the keys. Next is we are going to install the transport system. And then next this is our Elastic repository. Next we are going to update. After we do all that, we update. We continue. Now we're installing Elasticsearch. We are installing Elasticsearch. I want you to see all the steps that I am following, so that you might not have any problem when you are doing your own installation, because the most difficult thing with Elasticsearch is how to install and configure it. So just follow along. We go step by step, and you follow all the steps, and I'm going to give you all the commands that I'm firing. Okay, we have installed Elasticsearch, right? Now the next thing is Elasticsearch is installed, so we have to configure Elasticsearch so that we can at least it can be accessible. All right, it can accessible and meet up to our server characteristics. So we are going to open this file. We are going to open this particular file. The configuration file is elasticsearch.yaml file. We're going to open the file and we configure it as we want. So you copy this command, now this file opens. Look at what we are going to be configuring. I said the network host, you are going to put your IP address where your Elasticsearch is, installed, the IP address of the machine where your Elasticsearch is installed. That's why I insisted there, that private IP of Elastic. All right, so let's go and see what is our private IP of our Elastic. This is our private IP. Let's see where to put it. So let's shift a bit back. Private IP. So where do we put this private IP? Let's see. When you come to your demonstration notes, you will see that where you have network host, that is where you are going to put that your private IP. So we are searching for network host in our file. Let's search for network host. We search together. So this is the network compartment. Okay, so this should be our network host. You first of all uncomment it, and then you put your own IP address. Had it been you were running the full stack Elasticsearch, Logstash and Kibana here, you will just write localhost. Okay, so we put now the address of our server here. Now we go down, HTTP port. The HTTP port is 9200, so you uncomment this. Okay, that's what I say in my notes, HTTP port 9200, so you uncomment that, and then you go down to discovery type single node. So this is discovery. Come down here, you create your line under here, and you put it there. Discovery dot type colon single slash node. Let's make sure it is the same thing. You put discovery dot type single slash node. Okay, now you can save and quit. That is the that is all you have to configure in this file. So you save the file and you quit. All right, when you save the file and quit, what you do is you restart the Elasticsearch. Okay, systemctl Elasticsearch, start Elasticsearch. You might just give it a bit of time for it to restart. Elasticsearch does take some little time to restart. When it will restart, then we are going to test the availability of Elasticsearch with curl. All right, so let us test the availability with curl. We put our IP. Oh gosh, excuse my bad. We put our IP here, and then we run curl. Curl is just to test whether your Elastic is available by the internet. Okay, you see our Elastic is available. We are good to go. So we have set up our Elastic. That is all about our Elasticsearch. Okay, the next thing is we are moving over to Kibana, right? After we have set up our Elasticsearch, we are moving over to the Kibana server. So our next server is the Kibana server. This is our Kibana server. Just magnify it for you to see. So in our Kibana server, we are also going to run the following. We update our server normally. Next is, after updating our server, we still run JDK in our Kibana. After we run JDK, we add the keys, just like what we did for Elasticsearch. We add the keys. Our keys are added. Next thing we do, add our transportation system. After our transportation system is added, we run this. After that, we update. Great. Now we install Kibana. All these are found in their official websites. Okay, all these commands that we are firing are found in their official websites, so you just need to know what to do at what time. You can go to their official website. You will see all the various commands that we are running. So our Kibana is being installed. When it will be installed, now we are going to enter Kibana's own configuration file. Okay, in Kibana's own configuration file, what are we configuring in Kibana? We are configuring that Kibana should be able to talk with Elasticsearch. Remember, here is Kibana. So Kibana must talk with Elasticsearch. So we have to configure Kibana that you, Kibana, talk with Elasticsearch. Okay, that's what we are going to be configuring here. So we enter the configuration file of Kibana. So here is the configuration file of Kibana. What are we looking at in this very configuration file? We are aiming to, this is what we are trying to see. I explained it right there. We are going to change our server port and make sure that our server port is 5601. That is the official port for Kibana. That is the port that Kibana is running on. And then we are going to put our host, the host where the machine where our Kibana is running. Remember that our Kibana is running in a different machine and Elasticsearch is running in a different machine. So we are going to put the host of our file where Kibana is running, and then we are going to also change the file where Elasticsearch is running. So let us go step by step, and you see, firstly we are going to change the server port. Let's look for where there is server port. Let's look together. You have to press I to change this to insert mode before you can do anything here. So let's look for server port. Okay, here is server port up here. Here is server port up here, right? Now you see it is commented, so we uncomment it so that our server port should be uncommented. The second thing that we are going to be looking for after server port is we are going to be looking to add our server host. All right, let's search for server host in that particular file. Let's search for server host. This is server host. Here it is said that server host is local host. Okay, but since our Kibana is not running in the same instance like our Elasticsearch, we are going to change it from localhost and put our IP address of our Kibana. Okay, so let us first of all uncomment this, and then we come here, we delete localhost, and then we go to our Kibana and we take our Kibana IP address. This is our Kibana IP address, and we paste here. Okay, after doing that, what is our next thing? We are going to go to Elasticsearch host. That means this is now telling Kibana that Kibana, you are going to be talking but with Elasticsearch. Remember this, Kibana is here, it is going to be talking to Elasticsearch. Elasticsearch is here, is going to see Kibana, right? So we want to configure Kibana to talk to Elasticsearch. So we have to put Elasticsearch IP address inside Kibana. Okay, and there is a space given for us for that. Putting Elasticsearch IP inside Kibana. Let's search for Elasticsearch. So this is Elasticsearch host, elasticsearch.host, right? So we first of all comment it out, and then here like this, where it is written localhost, we are going to put our Elasticsearch IP there. So this is our Elasticsearch. We put our Elasticsearch IP there. Okay, I guess we are done. Let's verify from our file. After we do that, we restart Kibana. Okay, systemctl start Kibana. Okay, so you save and you quit, then you restart Kibana. Kibana is restarted. All right, since Kibana is done, what next? If you want to check the status of Kibana, you can go ahead and check the status. I'll give you the commands are here, and then if you want to check the logs, how Kibana is removing all those logs, you can run this command. You'll see how Kibana is removing all those logs, right? You can access Kibana from this URL. So we just need to copy our Kibana IP address, and we will be capable of accessing Kibana. So we copy our Kibana IP address and put there. Then we copy this, and then we'll go to our browser. So you use your public IP, not your private IP, to access Kibana, please. Your public IP. So our Kibana is up and running. As I said, make sure you put the public IP and not the private IP. Okay, so our Kibana is up and running. The next thing is we are going to install logstash. So we have, where are we standing? We have installed our elasticsearch, it is okay. We have installed our Kibana, it is okay. Now the next thing is, let us install our logstash. Elasticsearch is good, Kibana is good, logstash now. So in order to install our logstash, I have the very following commands for you. This is the command for logstash. So logstash and Kibana are in the same instance, so we are going to continue with this instance. So we clear and we continue in the instance. Okay, so the first thing is you want to install logstash directly. Sudo apt install logstash directly. Don't have any issues with that. After logstash must have been installed, we are going to navigate to the logstash configuration file. Remember that each and every of these components have a configuration file that we must configure in order for them to communicate. Okay, there must be a configuration file which you must configure for communication to occur. So after installing logstash, we must navigate to this location, etc logstash conf.d. When we come to this location, we are going to create an apache.conf file, and we are going to be writing our configuration into logstash. Okay, so let us navigate into this environment. You navigate to this environment. When you are there, we are there right now. All right, if you run ls there, you see that nothing is there. Okay, so we are going to create a file there where we are going to keep the configuration of logstash inside. Okay, it's like we have if I can draw something like this, it's like we are having this. Now we left from elasticsearch, and elasticsearch is having its own configuration file, so you should know how the configuration file of elastic is called. We came to Kibana. Kibana is having its own configuration file, so you should also know how the configuration of Kibana is called. We are now in logstash. Logstash is also having its own configuration file, so you should also understand what the configuration file of logstash is and where it is kept. So each of these have a configuration file, and you should know where their configuration file is, and what permits them to talk is this configuration file like this. This is what permits all these three things to talk: configuration file. So for elk, its own configuration file is elasticsearch.yaml. For Kibana, it is Kibana dot what did we have? This is Kibana.yaml. Yeah. And then for logstash, the configuration file is not existing. You are the one to create it. Okay, for logstash, you are the one to create its own configuration file. So when we navigate now to logstash, we are here. We should then create a configuration file, and the name of the configuration file, we are going to name it apache.conf. We are the one naming it because our website is going to run on Apache. So we are going to create an apache.configuration file. We are the one naming it like that. So if you want to maybe script different logs, you can name your configuration file differently. Okay, so we create our configuration file. Now inside this configuration file, what are we going to write? Okay, we are going to write the code. Remember, what did we say logstash is doing? We said logstash, its own job is to do some filtering and decide on the logs that Bit is sending to it, filtering the logs and then sending the logs to Elasticsearch, right? So logstash takes the logs, filter the logs, and then send the logs to Elasticsearch. So that is what we are going to be configuring in logstash. So let us go to logstash and see the configuration. That the configuration is just a simple code. This is the code. This is the code. Let me copy the code and paste. I will explain to you what the code is doing. Copy the code and paste. These codes are found in the official website of Kibana, of logstash, of Elasticsearch anyway. So you go there, you will see so many configurations for different use cases. Okay, I think the link is given here. The link is given here. When you use this link, you will be able to see all those configurations and everything. You go to this link, you will see everything. Everything is there. Okay, so you'll be able to see the different types of configurations and with their specific use cases. So here, what are we doing? We are going to be telling logstash that you are going to be inputting our logs from Bit. We are going to be inputting our logs from Bit, right? And the port that you are going to be using is port 5044. This 5044 is whose port? 5044 is the port that logstash is going to open for itself. It is going to be using port 5044. Okay, that's the port that we are giving logstash and telling logstash that that is the port you are going to use in order to be ingesting Bit logs from Bit. Remember, here are Bits. So logstash, you are going to be taking logs from Bit. So that's what we are trying to tell logstash here in this configuration. Okay, so this is the filter here. All right, we are going to filter and match combined Apache log. So this jargon here is more than our knowledge, because here we are just filtering the specific logs for Apache to be sent in, and down here we are going to be specifying that logstash, after taking information from Bit, you are going to filter it here, and then you are going to send it. This other one is the output, so it is inputting it from Bit and then outputting it to Elasticsearch. Look at it here. It is inputting from Bit and then outputting it to Elasticsearch. So that is the power of logstash. Okay, so logstash now sends it to Elasticsearch. How does it know that it is sending to Elasticsearch? Because we are going to put the IP of Elasticsearch here. So here, let us replace it with the IP of Elasticsearch. Our IP of our Elasticsearch, it is I think our IP of Elasticsearch is, we take the private IP. We are using private IP because all of them are in AWS and they can communicate with private IP without any problem. So we come down here. When I was studying this thing, I messed up with this code and it never works. So be very careful with this code, please. Very careful with this code. Use it just the way it is. Don't try to mess anything out from this code, otherwise your job will not be completed. So we paste the IP of Elasticsearch. Okay, now we are saying that output it to Elasticsearch, and you are going to index it this way. When you say index it this way, then This is the metadata of the bit, the version, and the year. So the timestamp will be there. Indexing is just like giving topics to your data. Like your data will be indexed with time, version, and maybe the particular bit. Okay, so this is what this code actually is talking about: standout and codec. So this is the code that you need in order to configure your logstash. Remember, we are configuring logstash. This is, we configured Elastic, and then we configured Kibana. So mind you, the particular files that we configured in Elastic, in Kibana, and in logstash, right? Mind you, the particular files that we configured and where they are and the location of the files. Study that very well. Next thing we are going to do is we are going to install our database. So before we do that, let us save this guy and quit. All right, when you quit, is that all? No. What are you going to do? You're going to start logstash. You have to restart logstash. Okay, have to restart your logstash. Okay, now our next thing is we have finished with Elasticsearch, we are finished with Kibana, we are finished with logstash. So the next thing is we have to install a web server in an EC2 instance, and then we are going to deploy a website. Actually, we're going to deploy a website in this EC2 instance. Okay, and then in the instance we are going to install bits. Okay, and then we are going to tell bits to ingest the logs from the website. All right, this is what we are going to do right away. So we are in our last EC2 instance, and the first thing we are going to do is we are going to install the web server. The web server is Apache. Let's update the EC2 instance. And then we install Apache. Our Apache server is being installed. After our Apache server is installed, let us try to access our Apache server. Let's try to access our Apache server. Okay, this is our Apache server. Okay, and our Apache server is telling us that the location where we can keep our files is here for our website. Okay, I actually have a website in my GitHub repository. As I told you, I'll be sharing the link below for you to clone the website and also do the same thing that I'm going to do here. So let's head over to this environment. This is where we are going to be keeping our website files. So let's head to var./ww/html, and then we cancel this index.html because this index.html is this thing that we are seeing here. So if we cancel it, it will no more be there. Okay, and then we put our own folders here. All right, so let's head over there. we first of all go to, let's minimize it and be seeing it while going. First of all, move to cd to var slash www slash html and slash. Then you enter there, and then if we run ls here, we are going to see index.html, this file. It is the actual file that we are seeing right now. This file like this, that's the file that we are seeing. So if we delete the file, let us delete the file, index.html, and then we run ls. You see that the file is no more there. If we refresh this place, we'll no more see this file. Okay, the file is no more there. So we have to put now our own files here so that our website should be hosted. So where should we take our own files? I'll go to my GitHub repository. This is my repository. This is a website that we have been practicing on, this particular website. Okay, you just come down here. I'll give you this link, please. I'll give you this link. You just come down here, you copy this particular URL, and then you go to your location and then you clone it there. Git clone, run git clone, and then you paste, and the files are sent. Now if I run ls, I will see law app here. Okay, I will see law app here. So I will need to, when I come here, I will need to put slash law app. Okay, I'll need to push slash law app because in here I am seeing law app. All right, so let us go forward and put slash law app. Copy this. So we just need to come here and then we'll put slash and then we'll paste law app, and voila, our website is hosted. Okay, we have a full functional website right now. So this website, the code to this website is located on my GitHub repository. Okay. Any person who wishes to download it, is actually free. Any person who wishes to download it, you can come here, you download all the code, and below the code I am going to be posting the explanatory notes, these explanatory notes alongside the code. So you will search within the code, you'll see an explanatory note besides. Okay, so our website is now functional, it is active. All right, so where are we? We have actually installed Elasticsearch, installed Kibana, installed logstash, and then we have installed our web app. Okay, what is remaining? The only thing now that is remaining is bits. So let us install bits. Let us install bits right now. So where are we installing bit? Of course, we are installing bit on the web application. So we come to our web application, and what is this process for installing bit? We go down on our app server. The first thing is we run this command. And our repositories get uploaded. Second thing, we install file bits. It gets created. Now we have to remember that each time I talk about configuration, we have installed bits, we have to now configure bits. We have installed Elasticsearch, Kibana, logstash. Now we are installing bits. We have to configure bits in their own with its own configuration file. So question, what is the configuration file for bits? Okay, what is the configuration file for bits? Let us come here. We'll discover that for bits we have to open the file. The configuration file for bit is called filebit.yaml. filebit.yaml. It is already there, we are not creating it. Okay, it is already there. So let's open the filebit.yaml. It is found in etc filebit and filebit.yaml. That is the configuration file for bits. So this is the file. So what are we doing in this configuration file? What are we trying to change? The first thing is that what are bits doing? Let us try to get the picture and understand what we are trying to do. Here are bits. Bits are installed in the app server. This app server is running, right? And as this app server, the application we have just installed, here is the application that is running. Here is our application that is running. As this application is running like this, it is keeping logs somewhere. Okay, this application is keeping logs somewhere. It is just like this. Let us enter into the micro world and see what actually is happening. Okay, we have this application here. Let's try to clean this up. All right, my bad. Okay, we have this application here. Application website is here. Now we have the website is inside this machine. The website is inside this machine here. As this website is running, it is keeping its logs inside of this machine somewhere in another repository. Okay, this website is keeping its logs inside this machine somewhere here, right? Now we have installed bits here, right? Inside the website we have installed bits here. So we have to tell bits that bits go to this location where the website is keeping its log. Take the logs and send the logs to logstash. Okay, bits are going to where the website is keeping its logs, taking the logs from there and then sending the logs to logstash. So this is what happens. Bits take the logs from here, send the logs to logstash, logstash send it to Elasticsearch, and then Kibana takes over. So question is, where is this web app keeping its logs? That is a question that we need to ask ourselves. Where is this web app like this keeping its logs? We have to first of all know that. So, and in order to know where this web app is keeping its log, the web app always says where it is keeping its log. The logs are found in, here's where the logs are found, var.log.apache, and you will see access log. This is the name of the file. The file is called access log. We can go there and we'll see it. Let's go there. We'll go there when we leave from here. So the first thing is, do you know, let us, for teaching purposes, it is good to always first of all go and see what you're trying to do. So let us see this directory. Let us go to this directory. The directory is var.log.apache, whether we will see logs there. So cd to this directory, and then we ls there. So we will see this is something called access log. There are other logs that are there. Okay, you can decide to take error logs. You can decide to take host access log, other host access logs. There are different types of logs that are there. Of course, yes, I know the question that is in your mind. Can we take all the logs at the same time? Yes, we can take all the logs at the same time. Okay, So we can take all these logs at the same time, and in order to take all these logs at the same time, what we'll do is we can just come here, and instead of putting the name access.log, we'll just put it like this. We'll just put it like this. We'll just put a star. Now this means that anything that is found inside this folder Apache that has the end.log will be actually harvested. Anything that is found in this folder that have the termination.log will be harvested. Okay, anything. So if we do that like that, we are going to harvest all these 3 logs, and we are going to visualize them in Kibana. Okay, let's do that. Let's not just limit ourselves to one. Let's do all the logs. So let's try to first of all open one of the logs and see whether logs are actually here, because you do not do things you don't know. Okay, let's see whether logs actually are inside this file. We open it, v access.log. These are logs. Okay, these are logs. So these are the various logs that we want to send to logstash. Logstash filter them and send to Elasticsearch. So the logs are there. Okay, so we have seen that the logs are there. Let's see, are there error logs there? V error dot log. There are logs there for error. Okay, so we see that the files are actually there. So these are the files ls. These are the files that we want them or their content to be found in Elasticsearch. All right, so we are going to now open the configuration file of Elasticsearch. This is the configuration file for Elasticsearch, file bit.yaml. So the first thing is we are going to see the file bit configuration. Now the first thing they'll ask you is file bit output. Where do you want these files to be output? Where do you want them to be output? Okay, so the first thing you answer is you want the files to be output in, come down here, you see the path is there. Okay, var/log star.log. Is that our path? Let's check if it is our path. var/log/apache2/star.log. That is our own path. So we copy our own path, copy, and then we replace it with this path here. So this is now our path. Okay, this is now our path. So we have now a file bit input. We have where you can input file bit is inputting the logs. So we have told file bit that this is the location where logs are being kept. Go to this location and take the logs. Okay, so we have to tell file bit now where to go with the logs. Where are you going with the logs? So let us go to our configuration file and see what is there. Still in the file, comment out the Elasticsearch output, right, on the output, because we do not want file bit. We do not want this. We do not want file bit to directly send the logs to Elasticsearch. No, we want the logs to be sent to logstash before going to Elasticsearch. So we are going to comment out Elasticsearch configuration. Let's look for where Elasticsearch is. This is this Elasticsearch template? No, Let us look for where elasticsearch template is. Okay, this is outputs, logstash outputs. We must have passed elasticsearch. Okay, elasticsearch output, here it is. So this is elasticsearch output, right? So here we are going to make sure that we comment this out, because we do not want logstash to send any logs to elasticsearch. So you comment this out. Cool. That's the first thing we are told here, that comment this out. So we put a hash there. All right. Then the next thing is you go to Kibana. Of course, you want that your bits should have access to Kibana. Okay. You want your bits to have access to Kibana. So in the Kibana host configuration, you are going to put your Kibana IP address here, and the Kibana host will be there. Okay, the Kibana port will be there. So go down to Kibana. Here is Kibana. You come down to the setup of Kibana. Uncomment this, and here you put the IP address of Kibana. Where is Kibana? Here is Kibana. Take the IP address of Kibana and then you put there. After Kibana, now the next thing is, of course, it must send those logs to logstash. So the next thing is logstash. Okay, so let's go to logstash. This is logstash here. So we have to comment out, uncomment this. Whoa, what did I do? Okay, here you uncomment this output, and then you uncomment host, and then you paste the IP address of logstash, which is the same IP address that Kibana is having. So logstash and Kibana are having the same IP address, so you paste the IP address of logstash here. Remember that if all these three stacks were installed in the same instance, you will just allow all these local hosts there. Okay, but I'm trying to show you actually the way it is done at the industry level. So logstash is done. Is there any other configuration needed? No, we are done. Our logstash output, we have done so for logstash output. That's that. Now we save and we quit. Now the next thing is we have to install modules. Okay, what are modules? Modules are the various means by which bits used to transfer data from here to logstash. So we have to install those modules in this particular web app, so that Bits can use those modules in transferring the logs. All right, so they are not something much to install. You just need to enable them. So the first thing is first of all, run the modules manager. And when you are running the modules manager, please change this IP address to your Elasticsearch IP address. Okay, you run the module manager and you change this IP address to your own Elasticsearch IP address. So this is Elasticsearch. Take the IP address of Elasticsearch, you paste here. Now you copy the whole of this line. Copy the whole of this line. This is the module manager that you are adding, the index module manager. So you are going to add there. So index has been added. After you do that, then the next thing is you enable your FileBit module. After you must have done that, it is enabled. The next thing you do is you restart your enable the Apache on. Enable the Apache module. Next, you restart your FileBit service. FileBit service has been restarted. Next thing is you test whether there is communication with everybody. This last command is testing whether the communication is moving downstream. Okay, test whether your communication is moving downstream. FileBit test, they're telling us that there's an error unpacking file data, more than one namespace configured, access output. We have access two outputs. Let's see, it's good that this occurred while we are working. Let's see, let's enter FileBit and see. We have access to output. We have accessed the output for logstash, which is the normal, and which other output again? Output for Elasticsearch is not commented, so we have to comment out this. Okay, with that commented, let us try again. Before we try, we are going to restart FileBit service. Then we try it again. Hooray, we are okay, everything connected, everything is okay. If you arrive here, guys, if you can be able to see this, then you are okay and everything is working out for you. So we have finished all the configuration back scene. We have finished every configuration from behind here. The only thing now is we head over to our Kibana and start seeing our logs. Okay, we go to Kibana. Kibana is our user interface, so we go to Kibana and start seeing our logs. So remember, we logged already into Kibana somewhere here. Yeah, we logged into Kibana. This is our Kibana. You come to explore my own. You go over to discover here. After you come to discover, then you come to create index pattern, and then from create index pattern you're just going to copy this. You're just going to copy your name from here, then you paste here. You can just put a star for the name to be acceptable, and then you choose timestamp, and then you create your index pattern. After your index pattern must have been created, you come back to discovery, then you click on discovery, and voila, that is your ELK, which is now receiving logs from your application. So your application is now sending logs to your Elasticsearch, and your Kibana is now receiving it. So this is actually what is happening. This application is depositing logs somewhere in system log, and then bits are taking the logs, and then they are sending the logs to logstash. Logstash is logstash is trying to do some sort of filtering, and then logstash is sending the logs to Elasticsearch, and then from Elasticsearch now you can use Kibana to scrape your logs. Okay, so this is the full end-to-end. I know I've tried my best to make it as basic as possible, because I know Elasticsearch is somehow complex, and for you to start operating and knowing what you're doing, just shoot the commands exactly the way I present it, the way I'm going to present it to you, and then when you must have mastered the commands, then you should start knowing on how to go changing one thing or the other. Remember that as IT professionals, if it works, don't touch it. If it works, don't touch it unless you know what you're doing. Okay, so first of all, use my commands, and then now you can start trying to see how you can change the commands and see what you can do with it. All right, so in your Elasticsearch there is a lot that you can do. So we are seeing data directly here. There's a lot that you can do. I mean, you can come to you can come down to logs. You can actually add data directly or stream logs live. You see logs are entering in here. You can actually stream logs live and see what is happening. You can also create dashboard. Okay, you can create dashboard in ELK. You can create a dashboard where I mean, you present your data in a very nice way. You can do a whole lot of things. I mean, going around your ELK user interface is another part of learning on itself, but I just wanted to show you as DevOps engineers how you can link the two, because most often in your career you will be the one configuring these things from behind and making sure that the linkage is on. And for the linkage to be on, remember, you just need to understand the various configuration files. Okay, this one is kibana.yaml, this one is elasticsearch.yaml, the logstash one is the one that you are the one creating, bit.yaml is there. So this is where the configuration matters, and going through the video you see what to put where. Okay, do it as many times as possible. If you do not succeed, write me or send me a text directly, or you can comment on the video below. I'll get it and I will get back to you, and we shall see how it can work. Okay, so thank you guys. If you love the video, I mean, give it a like and share it as we prepare for other simplification of mysterious issues in DevOps. All right, see you guys, have a nice time, bye bye.